all these. I have modern women that I want to bang too.
No, well, you know what you do? Keep naming the old ones, and then I'll force you into the 21st century. Okay.
Force
And
me.
your bridge can be like Felicia Rashad. Okay.
Did you hear about this thing that W. Kamau Bell is doing about Cosby that's going to start on Showtime on Sunday?
Is this another attack on this man?
Yeah, another unfair, unwarranted attack.
What? When is it going to stop? When is that crazy shit going to stop?
You know they're only doing it because he was a conservative, because he told black people to pull their pants up. That's the only reason this is happening.
And they never listened to him. That's what's even worse. They never did listen to him.
Always the Bill Cosby. What you got to pull the pants, please? Pull the pants. Somebody said that when he was doing stand-up comedy, like I think back in the 60s, he was always wearing like a Hofstra sweatshirt or something. He was perpetually wearing a Hofstra sweatshirt.
Yeah.
They must have been thrilled about it. They must be thrilled about that. Of course, he didn't.
What didn't he go? Didn't he? Oh, he went to Temple, right? That was his school.
Temple was his thing, yeah. And then he made a big deal on the show of wearing sweatshirts from historically black colleges and universities, like Morehead and A&T and all those other ones. You know, I was listening to Edger and James on the Dan Le Batard podcast. He has a daughter who is currently attending North Carolina A&T State University.
I don't know whether that's true. I think I got to object.
No, he said it's firsthand. It's a first party thing.
I don't think so. I don't know. One more thing here. Let's get that all rocked up. We should be in good shape. All righty. It is the Brad and Britt cast, midweek edition, whatever that means. And as we begin this day, we're going to obsess about the most important story in the country right now that really real Americans don't give a fuck about, because it won't lower the price of gas. It won't educate their kids. It won't take masks off of all of us so we can get back to regular life. So we'll pretend that the only thing that matters is the fact that Stephen Breyer is leaving the Supreme Court at the end of the term. Let's go for it. Let's hit it hard. Let's rock with it. And by the way, before we start, let me just tell you, I took the bullet 20 minutes ago to get how the fuck could Fox try to turn this into something that's nothing. And here's the nothing part of it is that for the last 2 years, we've all been asking, is Stephen Breyer going to retire to make way for Joe Biden to be able to appoint a younger justice? That's not a new idea. We've all been talking about it. It isn't even one of those behind closed doors, right? It's a public thing.
He's 83 years old. Jeez, I mean, come on. Everybody was thinking it.
Right. And so Breyer finally says it. He's going to do it. Good for him. He doesn't want his work reversed by hanging around too long and then having either a Republican president get in there and do to him what they did to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's legacy in terms of the replacement starting to fuck it up, right? Although your legacy is secure. I guess just to have your decisions undone by the person who replaced you. I guess that would be more accurate. But on Fox, that's the scandal. Was he forced out? Did they force him out? Because that is wrong. You are not supposed to, you cannot do that. Okay. As opposed, wait. First of all, obviously, he wasn't forced out. He made the decision on his own. He's an adult. He's been on the Supreme Court for 30 years. He's 83 and he can decide when he wants to leave. And this makes complete sense for a lot of reasons, including the politics of it, which, by the way, is not illegal and not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But on Fox, they're going to try to turn this into, this is what Democrats do. They force, as opposed to what Donald Trump did, which is ride shotgun on fuckface Mitch McConnell's move when Antonin Scalia died, and not allowing Barack Obama to get Merrick Garland through because he made up this fucking bullshit rule out of nowhere. And fortunately, Mitch McConnell right now is not the majority leader, so he can't invent another rule like, presidents can't appoint a Supreme Court justice in an off-year election year. Presidents can't appoint a Supreme Court justice this close to the Super Bowl. Presidents can't appoint a Supreme Court justice in any year that ends in 2, right? He can't do that. So Breyer is leaving. But they're trying to somehow make this some kind of sordid thing, as opposed to the backroom deal that they made with Anthony Kennedy for him to step down, right? So we would get Brett fucking Kavanaugh, right? So you went from a moderate to Kavanaugh, and then when Ginsburg died, right? You get Amy Coney Barrett. Okay. Yeah. So it's still basically 5.5 to 3.5 or 6 to 3, depending on how you think John Roberts is going to play. So this doesn't change. It won't change the
threshold. The threshold also came down from 60 votes for confirmation to just a majority as well. That was another thing that Mitch was able to get through.
And thank God for that. Thank goodness for that. Well, see, not really. Because of course he did that because the Republicans didn't have 60 senators back at the end of Obama's administration or at the beginning of Trump's administration. So they changed the rules, and of course they're blaming Harry Reid for this. This is the game. The headlines you're going to see is it's the Democrats' fault that it's only 50 votes. And therefore it's going to be up to Joe Manchin and Kirsten fucking Sinema again to make sure that Joe Biden gets the 50, because we can't possibly think that in the world in which we live in, that any Republican can ever vote for a democratically nominated judge by a Democratic president. Because as you know, in history, no one has ever crossed what are perceived to be party. That's not true. Let's look at the record, Britt. Let's see who's there now. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. What do you think the vote for her was? Don't look it up while I'm talking about this. Don't you dare do that.
I believe it was like 92 to 8 or something. It was pretty far.
96 to 3.
Well, I was in the ballpark.
You were there. One of the 3, of course, was Jesse Helms. Of course, voted against it.
Of course it was Jesse Helms.
Amy Coney Barrett. What do you think the vote was for her? And remember, at that point, the Republicans had a slight majority.
Oh,
at the end of Trump's term, they had a slight majority. Remember,
52-48. Was that what that was?
That is correct. One Republican voted against her. That was Brett Kavanaugh. What do you think that vote was?
51-49, I think.
50 to 48.
Oh.
And one of those 50 was, that's right, in favor of Brett Kavanaugh, Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin, sure. If I can sell it to the people of West Virginia and they want Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court justice.
Well, because he drinks. He drinks a lot, and they like that.
They can relate to a drunk in West Virginia.
Clarence Thomas. Let's go back. Let's play a super oldie here. The answer is 52 to 48.
Unbelievable.
And Joe Biden was, of course, the head of the Judiciary Committee, and he voted against Clarence Thomas, which, again, if you want to go full personal grudge and not believe that these justices, when push comes to shove, don't put their personal views into things, think about it. Was it last week? Yeah, last week when the ruling came down 8-1, that Trump had no fucking business trying to stop all of his communications and papers that were already over at the National Archives from going over to the committee that is looking at things about January 6th in the House. It was 8-1 in the Supreme Court. And the one saying, yes, Trump should be able to hide shit, of course, was Clarence Thomas, who, of course, was voted against in his confirmation by Joe Biden, who happens to be, I think, let me check, is he the legally elected president? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's still the
Well,
president.
some people say, Brad. Some people say.
Yeah. When Stephen Breyer got a big majority, also, of course, when he was up for nomination, and one of the people that voted for Stephen Breyer, write it down, Mitch McConnell voted for Stephen Breyer. So the answer is that there is a long history of lots of senators putting aside whatever preconceptions they have and actually saying what, when they say it, living up to it, which is they always say, well, if the person is qualified, and qualified means, they're not a drunk, they passed the bar, they have a judicial record that's honorable, and they appear to have some degree of fairness in their rulings, then you know what? I will vote for them because it's good for the country. It's good for unity. It's a good thing. So it used to happen sometimes. Now it never happens. So you can play this game in all different directions. Do the Republicans have any, and I'll leave this one up to you. And then you run with the ball here. Do the Republicans have any possibility of coming forward right now and saying whoever Joe Biden nominates, and it very well could be a black woman, a very qualified black. In fact, chances are pretty good that whoever this black woman is, they'll be way more qualified than Brett Kavanaugh or Amy Coney Barrett, because the world in which we live, if you're a black woman, you have to be that much better, usually, to gain a position, to be successful. So let's put aside the fact that this person won't be, they'll be fully qualified.
It's so weird.
Would it be in the Republicans' interest to put aside all the prejudicial bullshit, the divisive horse crap, the scorched earth? We're going to try to wreck Joe Biden no matter what. Put it aside and say, yeah, we're going to vote for this nominee. Make it almost unanimous. And then they get to say to their voters, we're not the dividers. We're the uniters. Is there any chance? And again, I'm pulling that out of my ass, and I think I know the answer, but let's just pretend maybe it could happen. No, not possible.
There's no win in that to go to their voters and say that. Their voters don't want to hear that. their voters don't want to hear that.
I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go get a hammer and just smash my fingers for even thinking that. I'm sorry. That was a bad idea.
That doesn't appeal. And it's funny because the Democrats are likely to nominate a black woman, and Kavanaugh used to black out a lot because he was so drunk. So you can see how the parallels go there a lot, right?
Yeah.
You can see how that works.
Yeah. Sonia Sotomayor, what do you think her vote was? What do you think it was for her?
Oh, Sotomayor was up there. That was like, I'm going to say 78-22.
Not quite, but 68 to 31. The 68 was comprised of the 57 then Democratic senators. Of the Republicans who voted yes, we only have two left who are still in the Senate. They are Susan Collins and Lindsey Graham. John Roberts, 78 to 22. That's pretty high up there. Let's see. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, who was then a senator, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, and Dianne Feinstein all voted no against Justice Roberts. Samuel Alito, that was a tight, 58 to 42. Elena Kagan, 63 to 37. Susan Collins and Lindsey Graham voted for Elena Kagan, arguably now the most liberal justice.
But as far as her qualifications, the stuff that she'd written and stuff, she was one of the least controversial. There was nothing at all controversial about. Sotomayor, there was nothing really controversial either. But Kagan was milquetoast. There was nothing that you could comb through and look at and go, oh my God, this is the worst, and she wants children
wait
to
a
be
minute.
sodomized by goats, and there was none of that shit.
But she was the head of Harvard Law School. Isn't that a controversial thing, Britt? Aren't you forgetting that?
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible thing. There's Tully chiming in with the problems. Maybe Biden should nominate Michelle Obama. Maybe that is.
Hang on. He's not crazy. Listen closely. Not necessarily that, but how about this? You ready? Nominate for the U.S. Supreme Court Kamala Harris.
Oh boy.
That hang on, and again, we're right at the beginning of this. I'm not reading this from any smart ass Twitter. This is just me making shit up, because that's what we do here. We make shit up. You get rid of the Kamala problem politically, right? Because she's just, it doesn't seem like it's working out all that well. Even if you support her, even if you think she's getting bad press, even if you think it's unfair, even if you think that Joe Biden is giving her the shittiest jobs in the world, fix the border, right? Go down there and fix all that. Okay. Even if it's all true, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And if 82-year-old or whatever he's going to be, Joe Biden does run for re-election, Kamala Harris will not be a turnout aid for the Democrats the second time around. Not even close, right? Not helpful. So that's where you move her out and you ask Michelle Obama to become the vice president. And then you make her the heir apparent, giving Joe Biden the option of stepping down. And then you have an Obama at the top of the ticket in 2024. You like that one?
Here's why I like that idea, because you got two confirmations. They have to confirm Kamala Harris. The Supreme Court got to confirm Michelle Obama as vice president. So you would force Republicans to vote against black women twice. So that, and which they'd be happy to do, but at least they'd be on the record doing it. So yes, you would be in that particular case. Yeah, you would be doing that.
Right. And Michelle Obama, 3 ways from Sunday, has said, I'm not interested in running for president. I don't care if Joe fucking Rogan makes it up on his podcast and suddenly it's a thing. She's not interested in running. And you know what? You can 100% believe that until she decides otherwise. And then she will have decided
for some reason. And again, this is really hard to fathom. She hates politics. I mean, it's hard to imagine after what she went through at the highest levels for 8 years that she would think, I'm done with that entire sewer.
Well, I think Dwight Eisenhower hated politics too. Well, I don't think he had any intention of ever running for president. When he was in the military.
I think the hatred that was directed at Dwight Eisenhower may have been a little different in both measure, quality and quantity, than the hatred that was thrown against the Obamas for some reason or other. And I'm trying to think of why that would be different, but I can't really put a name to it per se.
I hear you, but Michelle Obama at the top of the ticket for the Democrat, that would be the unattainable. It would be the 100% black turnout.
Oh, well, yeah.
It'd be 110%. That would be cheating. You can't have more people voting than registered.
There you go again. There you go again. Cheating just like in 2020.
I did it. No, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So you're not gonna jump on to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and say this is what she should have done. Breyer's doing the exact thing that she should have done.
Why are you saying it that way? Of course she should have done it. Everyone, Britt, it wasn't. Again, she was very stubborn about it. Yeah. She was asked in public 1 million times and said, no, I will step down when I decide to. And when you would bring up the fact that if you stay to a point where there's a Republican president, you're going to be replaced by someone without your judicial philosophy. So you should step down now while Barack Obama is president, so that Barack Obama can appoint someone and put aside what eventually happened with Scalia and all that. She could have stepped aside and she would have been replaced by Obama. And her response to that was la 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 la, can't hear you. So as great a person as she was, as important a Supreme Court justice in history as she is, that was a mistake. That was a bad mistake. It was a mistake of arrogance and hubris and ego. and she didn't need to do it. There's nothing she did in the last 2 or 3 years or 4 years that was not duplicable by someone who would have replaced her. Her place in history long ago secured. The CNN film Sunday at 9 was already in place. She was already a legend. She was the notorious RBG 15 years ago. So that was a mistake.
I want to see another Tom Hanks documentary about T-Rex or some shit at 9:00 on Sunday night. There's a John the Catholic co-signing your idea, Harris to SCOTUS. He believes that that's a good idea, but then it's gonna be Sean Hannity. Well, the Democrats are admitting that the Kamala Harris thing was a complete disaster, and this is their trap door. This is their magic bullet to get her to the Supreme Court.
I have news for you. If George H.W. Bush could have appointed Dan Quayle to the Supreme Court to get him out of the fucking vice presidency when he ran against Bill Clinton for re-election, he would have done it. But he couldn't. He couldn't have done it. This is different. And desperate times call for desperate measures. And
I'm always watching old Letterman clips on YouTube, and I'm into a jag where he's doing just like a shit ton of Dan Quayle jokes. It just seems like a quainter time, It just seems like a much like, that was all we had to worry about was an idiot as vice president.
Did you see that Letterman is going to be on Seth Meyers next week, 40th anniversary of Late Night on NBC? Yeah. It was his show. The one that he got fired from for saying that thing about that person.
That was terrible when NBC fired him. They should have done that.
He had to go. I agreed with him when they fired him.
And then like a few years ago, CBS fired him. Why does he always end up
getting
fired?
Just gets canned.
It's just the worst thing
canned.
ever. It's just the worst.
Yeah.
Well, it's like as you said, it's a very important speculative thing. I just feel like Mitch is going to pull. This is where we find out how much Mitch McConnell wants to kill democracy, right? Because he ended up denouncing Trump and all of the stuff that happened on January the 6th of 2021. He ended up saying that it was wrong and that Trump shouldn't have done it, pissed Trump off. But then he goes to all of these measures to try to make sure that we have minority rule. And this would be the one where, we're going to pull something out of our ass and have all of these strategic things to block and not even, and we're going to get Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema to come along with us and go,
that's the point. He doesn't have to do anything. He can just sit back and watch as those two will have, this is so sick, some kind of veto power over who the nominee is. And let's just try to think about the possibility that Joe Manchin in particular would torpedo this by using his words, his disingenuous bullshit words, to get in the way of changing the 60 vote rule so they could pass the Build Back Better legislation here, the human infrastructure that just went by the boards a few weeks ago. It's still there. Nothing's settled yet, but it's going to be passed in little bitty pieces, if anything, which might be okay, but that's not the point.
Aren't there all these smoke signals and tea leaves that like Manchin is like, well, I'm interested in revisiting this Build Back Better thing.
But just wait. You said it a few minutes ago. I have to be able to sell it to the people of West Virginia. Yeah. So if you think, just for instance, that under no circumstance could Joe Manchin sell a black female justice to the people of West Virginia, he wants to do it. He wants so bad, but he just can't do it because and of course that's all crap. It's just garbage. If it's one thing to do what he's done on the legislation. It would be taking it to another level to try to hold hostage to what is Joe Biden supposed to nominate some right winger approved by the Federalist Society, the same kind of person that Donald Trump would, or else he's not voting for it? Fuck. I mean, has it reached that point? I don't know. I don't think it has.
They've got a black
Manchin
woman in
is a
mind.
Democrat. That's the problem.
But they've got a black woman in mind. The Republicans are going to put forward, and if Joe Biden would just nominate Candace Owens, then we can go ahead and we can go forward with this process.
I'll tell you what. Can we, if you can, Britt, can you get in touch very quickly here? I know you've got like a hotline.
Yeah.
To Senator Strom Thurmond, who is an expert in this demographic area. He's calling him right now. For those of you who can't see what we're doing, he's got his phone up there. You got him?
Yep. Is a machine on? It is a machine on. This is Honorable Strom J. Thurmond from the great state of South Carolina. Brad and Britt, you are credit to community.
Are you keeping up with the news today? There's going to be an opening on the Supreme Court. Justice Breyer, the longest-serving justice right now, is saying he's done.
He's heir to the Breyer's ice cream fortune. He has done a good job on Supreme Court, and he has earned his retirement. And Strom Thurmond, I have in my list 46 card-carrying black women who could survive and be on the Supreme Court.
So you've thought about this. You've thought ahead.
Vanessa Williams. The other Vanessa Williams. Lola Falana.
No.
Some of these people may not be alive anymore. I'm not sure. Diana Ross. Diana Ross's daughter. That guy, what's her name? Lisa Bonet, the one just broke up with.
It's Bonet.
Lisa
Bonet is what you use in the bathroom.
Well, Lisa Bonet that just broke up with Jason. She gonna be on the Supreme Court. These United States. Michelle Obama. I got her right here. Claire Huxtable. I have Claire Huxtable, who is
Felicia Rashad,
a fine lawyer, a barrister with great qualifications, needs to be on Supreme Court of this United States. That woman that was on Scandal, she needs to be on Supreme Court of United States of America. Oprah, the time has come for Oprah to take her rightful place on the United States Supreme Court. Do you have any names as well that you would like to throw in?
I really don't. I think you've got a great list there. I don't want to upset you or say that it's not likely that any of those people, including the dead ones, Lena Horne, she's dead. She was an attractive woman. I'll bet you thought she'd be qualified. Yeah.
If you want, you can go a little bit younger if you want to, with Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, and Doja Cat. All they could be great people on the Supreme Court 50, 60 years shaping the United States of America.
Let me ask you this. Are any of the Vandellas still alive? I think we lost Martha Reeves recently, and we lost what's her name from the Ronettes, Ronnie Spector.
Ronnie Spector has been lost. Yeah. I believe we do not have any of the Vandellas left, but there is a heat wave in my britches. I can say this with all authority, and it's good. My good friend Joe Biden, I support you in nominating any of these people. I'll do my part to try to do my due diligence as I interview them for the United States Supreme Court.
All right. So you're kind of the backstop, or you're kind of the barrier. You got to get by Strom, and then once you put the stamp of approval on whoever it is, off they go.
That is exactly correct. It's not a casting couch. It is Strom's due diligence. And we look forward to talking to all of the people. Also, a late Gayle King. Gayle King making a late appearance on the list. Strom Thurmond will be very happy to talk to Gayle King from CBS Morning News.
Well, a couple of those Bond girls.
That's correct.
Right.
I like Halle Berry, but
Halle Berry
is fantastic, but for Strom's taste, not dark enough. Not dark enough.
God almighty.
I gotta say, on the gradient culture, Vanessa Williams, yes. Halle Berry, no. That's how I feel, and that's 100%. Beyonce needs to be on the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, I call on you to put Beyonce on the United States Supreme Court.
Okay. Condoleezza Rice. Remember her?
Condoleezza Rice, a fine woman, has a doctorate. Doctor writes, you need to be on the United States Supreme Court. Absolutely, 100%.
All right, Strom. Before you go, I know you're a big football fan. Who do you like to make it to the Super Bowl? It's let's see, it's the Rams versus the 49ers. It's a West Coast smackdown, right? And it's the Cincinnati Bengals against who the hell are they playing? Kansas City.
Chiefs. Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati because have a white quarterback, and of course Cincinnati is just part of Western Kentucky, and I get along very well with the rednecks of Western Kentucky. As far as San Francisco and LA, they can both go straight to hell. I don't give a shit. Cincinnati all the way. Go Bengals. Go
Bengals. All right. Thank you, Strom.
The Bengals being, of course, a jungle animal, and Strom Thurmond has jungle fever. All Brad and Britt, you are a credit to the community.
Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. God almighty.
That was pretty good. That's
why?
Pretty strong list.
Why do we do it? Why do we do it?
Because we have a podcast.
Yeah. Not the only reason.
Yeah. They're saying now some people are saying Stacey Abrams. Tully's causing trouble again with Stacey Abrams. That's an interesting thought.
For the Supreme Court?
Yeah. Do you want to go with a real home run ball? Because I mean, the people that may be qualified are people that we're not going to know. I mean, these are the neat.
Yeah, they're obviously there are people in the system. They have a list. They know.
You have those geeks,
and they're not going to take advice. They're not going to take advice from you or for me.
I hope not.
And
like Nina Totenberg, she's the Mel Kiper of this shit. She's got the tote board, and this person should be. She's somebody like that. They know the people and they know the nominees. I don't know.
Can I tell you something? You know what the nomination from Stacey Abrams sounds like? It sounds like a Republican disinformation campaign.
Yeah.
That if it were to come to fruition would fulfill a couple of things for the Republicans, because if Joe Biden is going to nominate a person of the black race or Latino race, whatever minority, the Republicans would love it if he took Stacey Abrams off the chessboard politically, because she's running right now, and I'm sure, I haven't seen the polling, she has a damn good chance this time to become the next governor of Georgia. And the governorship of Georgia, you could argue at this moment, is more important than an open Supreme Court seat.
I would agree.
That doesn't change the complexion of the court and won't for years, actually never will until things really, really change around her. So you know what? The Republicans would love Stacey. They'd all vote for her. Okay. Just to show that's where they would sit there and say, yeah, we voted for her. This is proof we're not racist. We are not racist. We voted for Stacey Abrams. Yeah. Where'd you find that one? Who threw that one out there?
A couple of people. Tully was one of them, and then Robert Poole also putting in Stacey Abrams. So it's a semi little bitty zeitgeist or conventional wisdom. Yeah. It's a little something's floating below. But again, I think the people that you and I know, we're not these geeks. There are these people that are lawyers, and they keep track of all this stuff and this person and that person. They know this stuff.
No, you got to go. I mean, the way things have worked for a long time now is you pick someone who is right in that second tier, right behind the Supreme Court and all those federal district courts. And there's probably a couple hundred of them. I don't know. There's probably several. There's 9 districts, and some of them have 20 judges. Some of them. So there's a lot, and many of them are already that. And there are other people equally qualified. So, but it's not going to be somebody who's only got a political background. Stacey Abrams has never been a judge. She's a lawyer, law school, but that would not be a good idea. All right, next subject.
You mentioned this right at the top of the show, and we'll mention it now just in brief, because I think the Fed has released a statement or some of the minutes of the meeting or whatever, and they have said it will soon be appropriate to raise interest rates. I think that was pretty much expected. Interest rates are probably going to go up at least a couple of times, maybe more this year. Any thoughts on that? That's already priced in the market, isn't it?
Well, as someone who actually went to the store yesterday to buy a couple of ingredients for a recipe, I would say that information has already been baked in, maybe air fryered in to where we are right now. So
of all the bullshit that I have, I don't have an air fryer. I've got like all of the stupid ass stuff. I don't have an air fryer.
Yeah, and I'm not watching it. I'm not seeing anything. I just saw the notification like you did.
Yeah.
Say what you want, and I said this a few months ago. One of the few things that Trump did right was make Jay Powell the head of the Federal Reserve.
Well,
I think he's been spot on. Is he perfect? No, nobody is, and nobody makes the right decision at exactly the right time. And they're always fighting the last war. We know all that. But you know what he is? He is a great communicator.
He is.
He doesn't speak in jargonistic bullshit language. It's very helpful, and I think he'll get it right. Maybe not in the short term. Things are impossible right now. No human being. We know that Bob controls the price of gasoline, right? There's just a guy named Bob, but there is no one guy, and his name is not Jay, and he doesn't sit in a room and make all kinds of decisions that, quote, control our economy. Our economy is a diverse, dispersed, freewheeling, free market basket of shit, okay, that just it works a lot of the time. A lot of the time it doesn't work, and it doesn't work for enough people. And the funny thing is, and again, this is why it's so ironic that Trump appointed him. He has gone out of his way continuously, even though right now it's a difficult thing to put at the forefront of what you're doing if you're the head of the Federal Reserve. But he's gone out of his way to say he wants to make sure that people get jobs. That's one of the things that the federal, it's employment and inflation. And he's been focused hard on employment, and through the pandemic, jobs were lost. It wasn't his fault, but they've come back in record numbers, and that's part of that basket of things that. How come no one is talking about the fact that more jobs were created in 2021 than in the history of the world? Blah blah, right? And I know that, but that's largely Jay Powell's doing. That's largely it wasn't Joe Biden's doing.
No.
And he's been criticized because of the keeping interest rates low for too long, and continuing to put money into the system that has helped prop up the stock market. There's no denying that. That's just a fact. And the plan always was to slowly withdraw it when necessary. And if inflation ever got out of control, we'll do that. That was him talking, 2 years ago. Well, that day is here, and he has to be a perfect navigator down that river. It's hard. It's very, very hard. And I think he's doing everything he can. And I haven't seen a statement yet. I know that got to be thinking this. You want to not make a big policy mistake.
Correct.
Big policy mistake would be to raise the interest rates so quickly that suddenly the economic wheels slow down too much and we get a recession.
Correct.
And then you hear a word that you haven't heard for many, many years now: layoffs.
Yep.
Not pandemic, because they fired waiters and people at hotels and things.
Because demand goes down.
Exactly. Because right now they can't make enough cars, because they can't get enough chips, because they can't build them fast enough. And that's why prices are going up. It's not because Joe Biden loves inflation. But at a certain point, if you really stepped on the gas and raised interest rates too high, people would probably stop buying cars at the rate that they are right now, although they're still so low. They're so low. Right behind me, 12 feet behind me, I've got some old papers, and I have that mortgage sheet that I have from when we bought a place in Boston in 1986, 86, and I think the interest rate on that loan was 9.75%. And that's not the highest. That it got higher than that, but when we bought it was that was probably, it had come down from 12. Oh, you got to buy now. I don't know what we were thinking there. But the point, right? The point is, right. So for interest rates to go to, I think 30-year mortgages now are in the upper threes, something like that. Upper three. Oh my God, the world's going to end. No one's ever going to buy a house. That's not happening because historically they're not that high yet, and so there is some room to maneuver. Is he going to do it correctly? We should all hope so. This is not.
Well, there's also part of the problem that we haven't talked much about this, but part of the problem as far as housing goes, the Zillow effect. And then there's also the idea that these hedge funds are just buying up houses all over the place and driving the prices up. Supply is going down. And that's, I mean, if you thought there was a housing problem in America now, or there was one, last year, the year before, it's becoming much, much worse. It's unbelievable right now.
Yeah, I wish I could make this bigger. I'm going to put it up there. It says, I got one of those texts today. Hi, our buyers really love your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a good match for them. We'd like to ask you if you're receiving deals for it. So that's who you're talking about. These are companies.
Yeah. Do you check Zillow for the value of your house on a regular basis, just for fun, just to see what it is?
Every once in a while. I think in the past, outrageous. It's not.
I think in the past 2 or 3 years, mine's gone up about 30% for I haven't done anything.
Well, maybe because somebody appraising it drove by when you actually had cut your grass.
Oh my God, that would have been a miracle. Yeah. That would have been absolutely fucking no. It's gone up pretty substantially. I mean, the problem, of course, becomes like, okay, fuck it, I'll sell it. I'll just get this, just back the Brinks truck right up to the door. Oh, where are you going to live now, smart ass? Because as it turns out, the rent on apartment is going sky high as well. People who can't afford to buy are getting jammed. So it really is a big problem that not a lot of folks are talking about right now because there's so many other things going on. I'm not playing that game per se. Why aren't people talking about this? But it is a huge
Britt,
deal.
I think people who are in the housing market right now trying to buy, they are talking about it. You and I, we're not thinking right now about it. So we see the news stories about it, and they don't rise to the top. But if you're a young family and you're looking right now, it's a big deal. There was just an announcement today that close to 2,000 jobs are about to be created right where we are, right near our airport in Greensboro, that's fantastic. But those folks have to live somewhere, right? And they're going to have to build more, but it doesn't happen overnight. Of course, this whole project isn't going to happen overnight either, but
this is a huge deal.
That's actually a good thing for us. That helps push up housing prices among people who still own.
Since you've been here and since I've lived here, I don't know if we've ever seen a period over the next 5 years where we're going to see the kind of economic growth that's been projected, because when you moved here was when the textile thing was going down. And that's when I was coming on board and the area was trying to reconfigure and see what they want to do. Now the Toyota plant is coming in. There's other stuff that's happening in this area. And for the first time, they're talking about economic development in Greensboro and not necessarily Raleigh or Charlotte. So
what's wrong? Hang on. You better check that again. That can't be right.
That weird.
Just can't be right.
It's odd. It's strange. I'm happy about it. But as you say, you got to figure if and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but in cities that have gotten hot very quickly, your Austins, your Portlands, your Asheville's, what is the problem? The problem is the thing that made your city attractive and the folks that made your city attractive are suddenly getting priced out and they got to go away. Right? Isn't that's what's happened in places like that, right?
You know what, Britt? I think we should be willing to risk that problem here because we haven't had it. We're in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we've been sitting back on our asses and watching Raleigh and Charlotte and Durham and Chapel Hill get, the Triangle and Charlotte get all the publicity. There's a reason. There are several reasons, but when the Weather Channel is in crisis mode for the South and the Southeast or the whole country. What is on the map? It's always Raleigh, Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte.
We don't
That's it.
exist.
That's
It
right.
has to get really, really bad here for Greensboro to finally show up on that national map. It really does. And of course, that's an example of nothing, but it's part of a pointless obsession I have with them overdoing that.
No, but it's absolutely 100% accurate. What you're saying is true. But I do like Brad Krantz, professor at the London School of Economics, with his basket of shit economic theory. I do enjoy. That's my takeaway from today.
And by the way, one of the all-time great examples. It's happened in the last 24 hours of nobody knows nothing.
Yeah.
And what the fuck are you doing? Maybe the bluest blue chip stock that's out there right now. I mean, the best run company is Microsoft. Okay,
Sure.
Microsoft has been hitting on all cylinders for years, and ever since they got rid of that stiff Bill Gates. Okay, and then that jerk face Steve Ballmer. He went and bought a basketball team. Whatever happened to him? Okay,
losers, bunch of losers.
So the guy who runs it now, Sajay Nadella, I think is his name.
Jesus.
He is so smart. He is so brilliant. And they just bought that video game maker. Was it Activision?
Yeah.
All right. They fucking know. And by the way, I'm all Apple. I'm not a Microsoft guy. But okay. But they're brilliant. The company runs well. My daughter works technically, I guess, in the end for Microsoft. She works for LinkedIn.
Well, look, I was looking at the stock. The stock's only up 359% over the past 5 years. These guys are clueless.
Right.
They have no idea what's going on.
Here's the point. On Tuesday, after the stock market closed, Microsoft announces its earnings. They're pretty good, pretty damn good. They beat where they're supposed to beat, blah, 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 blah. And I turn on the computer. The fucking stock's down 15 points after what the fuck is going on?
So you got some.
So wait. So some guy. Wait. So they're all on TV. Well, they didn't quite grow their cloud as much as we thought.
Oh, fuck.
It was supposed to be up 31%. It was only up 30.999 times. Let's sell the fucking. All right. So hang on. So this is like 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay. I didn't look at anything till later in the evening. I looked later in the evening. Now this minus 15 is +3 or something. Something happened. Something changed. And of course, the answer is the CEO came out and gave an explanation as to what's going on. And then suddenly, all these phonies, I think they're frauds. I think they were intentionally trying to drive the stock down, maybe to make money fast or something. They were completely wrong. Every part of that company was just taken off in the midst of a pandemic. They continue to do well. Why? Because Microsoft doesn't have to get microchips to build their. That's not what they do. They are that company. They're Microsoft. They're not building cars. Anyway, so that's the nobody knows nothing. Nobody knows nothing. The minute you listen to somebody tell you something, an hour later they could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They just could be wrong. I mean, it's just not possible for the objective, cold, hard numbers to hit the computer screens at 5 minutes after 4. And they actually said one thing, but they didn't say that. They said something else. That's not possible unless somebody's fucking with it. That's my opinion. And by the way, I did not, there's not I didn't buy or sell anything yesterday. I don't do that because I have a guy. Okay. He doesn't. But it's going to be the best line, and we can close if you want to here. The best line that I like about financial markets, and I can't remember which person said it. This is one of the people on the old Lou Rukeyser show. They said the stock market has this remarkable tendency to do whatever it is to make the most people wrong at any given moment.
That's a great place to stop.
It's really good at doing that. And that gets proven over and over and over again. And a new group of people has to learn this lesson
Yeah.
over and over. And probably the latest group of people who have learned it, at least for right now, are the crypto kids.
God, they suck.
Right?
God,
The crypto kids.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm feeling I'm feeling like a Schadenfreude overload on these cryptocurrency assholes. I know it's not like Elon. If Elon Musk loses a shit ton of money, who cares? Because he's still, I'm only got 20 billion in the bank, whatever. But it's some smart ass in Spokane who went all in on crypto coin and now he's fucked, right? That to me, that's the Schadenfreude. These are the guys that really were the hot shots, thought they had this, you old fuckers, you don't know what it's like. This is going to be the future of currency. And now people you saw the Odell Beckham Jr. story, right? He took his salary in crypto, and now he's just dead in the water.
Right. I think it's true that at least for this round of up and down shit that is the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, they generally move together. The peak was reached just as the Matt Damon Crypto.com commercial started to hit the air in October.
Thank you.
And just as they renamed the Staples Center, the Crypto.com
that was like
arena.
right around.
By the way, as you know, the price of Lakers season tickets dropped from $500 down to $30 now, right? Because of crypto. Is that true?
And also Staples went up 30%. It's the weirdest thing ever since all that happened.
But I find, again, no causation or direct correlation, but it's an interesting coincidence that happened, because it really did hit. I think Bitcoin hit about 60 some $1,000, and it's been down. It's probably up today. When the markets are up, it's probably up.
I hope Matt Damon didn't take his payment in crypto. I hope he took good old American dollars or gold or something.
Well, but here's the point. But it's like anything else. If you don't need the money tomorrow,
right,
it's not important.
Right.
If you're saying, look, crypto is a medium of, it's a speculative idea, but it's gaining traction. More companies are using it. More banks are saying, okay, more people who recommend stocks to their clients are saying, because the clients are saying it to them, should I be in a little crypto? And so if you're running somebody's money, you might say, well, yeah, okay, we'll put 1% or 2% in it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Rick Edelman, he is probably got more people who follow him, and he is a huge money manager across this country.
He sure is.
Very famous guy, and he is really well versed on it. When you listen to him, you will say, yeah, I think this is going to be a thing. It really is going to. He's brilliant about it. But at the same time, everyone could be wrong. It might be a big fat nothing. It could be tulips from Holland in the 1600s. It could be that. I don't know, because the curious thing about this, and we're turning into an investment show here, is that through all the crap that's going on in the world, we have political tensions, we have military tensions over in Eastern Europe and Russia and Ukraine. We have raging inflation. We have coronavirus hardly at the end of its reign. Although, you know what, Britt, I'm done with it. Are you done with it?
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Yeah, we're done with it. And gold has effectively done nothing, which that is not the way it usually works.
No.
So the cryptos went down, gold stayed flat, and financial markets reeled. That would have been a tough prediction in the case of possible all-out war here. It's not going to be all-out war with Russians, but it'll be a big deal. It'll be a big deal. So Brad, are you in crypto right? No, I have nothing.
Well, I'm with you. I think I'm with you on the fact I got the Warren Buffett philosophy on this. I don't understand it, so I stay away from it. If you can't, Warren Buffett's always like, if you can't explain it and you can't, then I'm out. I'm not going to invest in it. And I understand the concept behind it, but the idea of mining it and all this other horse shit, no. I'm not there. I don't get it, but I can't wait to see Matt Damon's commercials during the Super Bowl. That's going to be great.
Well, I wonder if they bought the Super Bowl. Do you know if they did? Is that
I don't know for sure. I just heard this story today. It's like $6.5 million for a 30-second spot or something like that.
Yeah. What's the difference? It's crypto.
And they've been running, in all the other sports, and they bought a huge and they paid, Matt Damon a ludicrous amount of money to endorse this thing. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're.
I would not bet against the idea that they'll buy their 60 seconds, or maybe they'll buy one in each half. I don't know.
Right.
But it's not anything. It isn't currency. It isn't government backed. And I know that's the attraction of it. But my bottom line is, and I mentioned this earlier today on Andrew Broad's blog and on my own Facebook page, on Ozark, Marty Bird deals in cash only, cash on the barrel.
You're damn right.
For dealing drugs. And so did what's her name, who had the heart attack, right? I'm only 4 episodes in. Don't spoil it for me. But I already read what happens to him. Anyway, they all deal in cash. And the Mexican drug guy, he only wants cash. I haven't heard any of them say on Ozark that they're ready to take crypto. So when they flip, if Walter White gets back into the meth business, if he comes back and it's Breaking Bad 2, the sequel, and he starts taking crypto for meth, then I rethink everything. But until then, not there.
We'll leave it there for today. We'll finish off on Thursday. I'm sure everything's going to be solved. We're going to have a Supreme Court nominee, and the housing problems in America also will be fixed. And then Putin will have been rebuked, and he'll go back to his cave on Thursday. We'll see you then.